As I was saying, thank you so much. If you're here, you are likely paid to talk or write for a living on behalf of an organization or a company or something like that in some capacity. And your job is to get that group, that person, that organization in front of the right audience for some kind of goal. And whether you're selling like a marketer or spinning like someone who's a communicator like me, it's harder than it has ever been in the past. And we'll go into that a bit. So, a little bit about me. My name's Amy Widdowson. I'm VP Communications at Medium. But in my previous life, I was the SVP of Corporate Affairs at Zeno Group. I was, SVP of Corporate Affairs at Zeno Group. I didn't say that well. I was a VP at the policy communications firm Verge and in marketing and comms at various startups before then. I've spent my career helping companies, organizations, individuals better communicate the ideas that get them excited every day, translating what's in their head in a way that makes the biggest impact possible in front of the correct audience so that they can achieve their goals. And in my previous life, a lot of that was thought leadership, from ghostwriting op-eds in the Washington Post to assisting with Senate testimony that was eventually turned into blog posts, all the way to case studies and product storytelling. And I came to Medium because, surprise, surprise, I truly believe in our mission of deepening understanding. I was a European history major in college with a certificate in theater, so I truly understand the power of rhetoric because I was graded on it, narrative, persuasion, storytelling, that sort of stuff. And I've seen that happen time and again at Medium. So let me just start off by saying your job is hard. And I think as marketers and communicators, sometimes it's easy to be self-hating and say, oh, well, we're just talking for a living. We're just playing. You've been tasked with getting an idea out there, whether it's a product announcement or a response to a policy or other pieces of thought leadership. And the internet is a mess, full stop. So you have to get ideas out there when there's just a maelstrom of crazy happening right now. And it's really hard to have things stick. We're in this wild age, and this is a quote from Marketing Week's 2025 Career and Salary Survey. It's harder than ever to identify who to talk to, and even harder to cut through the noise and distraction and persuade anyone else to your perspective. And you, as the marketers and communicators in your org, are under increasing pressure to move mountains and squeeze something from nothing. On top of that, generative AI means anyone and their cat can smash buttons on a keyboard and flood the internet with thought leadership, full of sound and fury and signifying nothing. While AI is helping with a lot of the work that we do, it isn't exactly great for the general noise on the internet. And I think all of you know, at least I've seen in the work that I've been doing, that there is that sort of very general uncanny valley marketing voice that is showing up everywhere. And the places we used to work to get ideas out there, not only are they being overwhelmed with this stuff, but they're also now pay to play or frankly gone, as we're losing so many different publications. So if you have something to say, something interesting and unique and pertinent to your community, I firmly believe that thought leadership still works. And lucky for all of us, it's not just me. So, for instance, this Edelman LinkedIn Thought Leadership Impact Report, 3/4 of decision makers say that an organization's thought leadership will influence their decisions because it is trustworthy. Right now, thought leadership and well-written product storytelling can still get attention because it's real and it's human. And it gets the attention of real humans when they read it. So it is still a great way to get across what you're trying to get across. So I want to start this off by asking what should you be asking yourself before you decide where to publish something on the internet in 2025? And I've got a series of questions that I think are good to ask before you start thinking about where you want to be putting your ideas. So, what is my business goal? Who do I need to connect with? What format does that audience prefer to consume information in? What is your capacity for creating? And can you keep up with a posting schedule? This one, you must be honest with yourself. I repurpose what I do onto another platform? Please excuse the typo there. Does this platform help me connect with my existing community, or does it expose me to new people? And finally, does a platform align with my values and brand integrity? These are all really important questions if you're going to determine what you're trying to do and how you'll be successful doing it. I'm biased, obviously, take all of this with a grain of salt, but I'm here to tell you why I think Medium is the best place to get what you're trying to say out there. So, um, this is from a user research interview done by our wonderful colleague Greg, who is our resident researcher. And this is an individual that said, I'm a hobbyist, I have a full-time job, I run a company, I write maybe once a month, but they were able to land a book deal. And I think, and so do all of my colleagues, we think this is the best place to write because of our unique combination of dynamic writers, curious community, and awesome opportunities for exposure via our distribution. So why do I think it's great? Like I'm saying, ease of use, distribution of your ideas, and brand safety. So to start us off, we believe that Medium is easy to use. Again, we're biased, but we are a beautiful, simple place for anyone to untangle your thoughts, to share your expertise, and to sharpen your craft. You can write what you want when you want. Our publishing tools are easy to use and intuitive, and they're designed to get your words from your head to an audience in as few as steps as possible, without needing to design a custom homepage or import existing subscribers. Look, we want you to write the moment you sign up for Medium because we believe that everybody has a story to tell, and that's what the product is designed to do. And Medium, your work is your work. So when you put your writing on Medium, you retain rights to all of it. It is yours to use as you deem fit. If you want to put it on a million different platforms, awesome, because you own it when you put it on the site. We believe in the distribution fundamentally as a platform. We connect stories with readers, full stop. But from a distribution perspective, we operate on the principle that writers should be able to write about whatever they want and trust that our algorithm will help them reach interested readers without being locked into one topic. So to do that, we have our own proprietary algorithm combined with real, actual human curators. They exist, they're an amazing team, and they are reading so much of the writing that goes through the platform seriously. So part of why our writers love Medium is because we provide connection with readers from day one. 90 to 95% of all published stories get what we call general distribution, which means stories are matched with readers based on their interests, even if the readers don't follow the writers. And when something is extra, extra great, these human curators will give it a boost. So less than 1% of stories receive this highest level of boost distribution, giving it an extra lift from our recommendations to make sure that it finds an audience. Means that stories can grow far beyond the initial audience to reach a larger number of readers that are interested in that topic. And other positive engagement signals that readers have, like clicking, spending time reading, highlighting, clapping, commenting, and following, our system takes all of that and then shows it to more and more readers who we think are interested in that story. And that is something that our writers love. Another thing I want to talk about is SEO. Obviously, SEO is a big conversation right now in terms of what is working and what isn't, but we rank well for SEO full stop. So you know that if you put your writing into Medium, you are going to be showing up well in the places that your customers, potential employees, potential regulators are searching for things. So it's good to know that when you put something into Medium, it's going to show up well in those places. And then finally, when we talk about AI search and sort of how stories are showing up in AI search, there's a Quinnipiac poll from April saying that 4 in 10 Americans use AI tools such as ChatGPT, Google Gemini, or Copilot either very often or sometimes. So you want to be able to show up in those places. And this is the Muckrack Generative Pulse report from earlier this year. And in something for technology, for instance, we are showing up in Claude and Gemini in the top 5 sources for those topics. And this is just one example from one topic, but again, we are showing up well where we are showing up in these search functions. And finally, and this is, I think, the thing that matters most to me as a Medium employee and as someone who, loves this platform. I'm going to state it plainly. We prohibit hate speech, we curb misinformation, and we actively strive for a kinder, more diverse, and more inclusive internet. We advocate for a more civil community of ideas. And this isn't just because we say we want to do it, it's because we want a clear space for good conversations to have. And hate and misinformation just do not allow that to happen. Writers have told us that they appreciate how quickly and effectively our trust and safety team acts to remove plagiarism, hate speech, and disinformation, because we want a friendly for writers and readers environment. And that also means a friendly for professionals environment where your writing can thrive without being associated with harmful content. Our moderation policies create a space for curious, thoughtful readers who want deep reads, not clickbait or rage bait or hot takes. And it attracts what one writer described as a rare kind of reader, thoughtful leaders who don't scan for sound bites, but stay for substance, which I hope in your role as a marketer or communicator, those are the sorts of audiences that you want to get in front of. But what about everywhere else on the internet? You know, views, reads, clicks, you've got a million places to put your ideas out there. And I think it is important that you take into account what you are looking to actually achieve when you are deciding where to put that information. So, look, I am not here to try and persuade you to replace your entire content strategy. I'm actually here to ask you to sit down, look at what you're trying to do and what you're trying to achieve, and to consider what is the proper platform for what you're communicating. It's about giving your best ideas the best chance to find the audience that it needs to find. So, I get asked a lot, should I choose Medium or should I choose insert other platform here? And to that, I say, yes. Use the platforms, use them. As I said, your writing is your own writing. You can post it on Medium, you can post it in other places, but you need to use the platforms that work for what you need. So, for instance, let's say you already have 100,000 email addresses of customers and you're trying to get in touch with them on a regular basis. Well, great. Go use one of your favorite newsletter tools. There are so many out there that you can go and take advantage of. Are you starting a business and you're looking for a marketing landing page, kind of like a place on the internet that will describe your products, but doesn't need to have any thought leadership in it? Awesome. There are lots of places on the internet like Squarespace and Wix. They're waiting for you. Go use them to build out your website. But are you trying to say something interesting that really burrows into the minds of potentially awesome customers? And do you want to be a thought leader? Is there stuff that you want to say to a really smart audience? That's where we believe Medium comes in. So again, we're going to go back to your goal, to the list of questions that you can ask yourself as you're going through this. Again, keep this in the back of your mind as you consider where you want to put your marketing and communications on the internet. And let's go through what actually works at Medium. So I'm not saying that you can put anything on Medium and instantly go viral and have all of the customers you want. That is impossible. In fact, if anything, I am here today to dissuade you of that notion that you can do that on any platform, frankly, and of the notion that that should be your goal in the first place. But here's the thing that a lot of folks miss. We can't force readers to click on your story. So we present those stories to them in a variety of different ways via our daily digest, our boost mechanism, or even our SEO optimization. But the reader still has to choose what to click and read. And that's where you come in as a practitioner of the field that you're in. I can confidently say that if you show up on Medium and you paste a bunch of cookie cutter PR nonsense that could have come from anybody, or if you just vomit up some AI generated slop that has nothing to do with your expertise, your Medium adventure is going to fall on its face pretty fast. But why is that? Because we're humans first. We are a subscription based company. We do not show ads. We are dependent on making sure that our members are happy with what they are paying for. We wake up every morning thinking about how we can make sure that our paying members will read things that make them proud to spend $5 a month. And that changes our incentives, and it should change your incentives as well. And just like with regular thought leadership, Medium is best suited for writing from experts, from experience, as was discussed in our keynote today, um, that show specific, interesting point of view on a specific given industry or topic. So let's go through what actually works on Medium. First and foremost, choose the story that only you can tell. And by you, I mean your boss or your client or your company or your organization. Medium readers love stories that are based in your experience and your expertise. And this is where some really, really amazing company storytelling come from. So, for example, if you're looking for information on how to organize your amazing development team, why not turn to the Netflix tech blog where the experts at Netflix will walk you through how they do it? There's no better way to learn about from the experience of others than in that respect. Second, select the right topics before you publish. Our topics are another way to tell our distribution system to get things in front of the right audience because our readers can follow topics on the platform. Now, don't try and game the system just because tech is super popular and has so many followers. If you post something that is unrelated to that topic, the algorithm will see it as a dud, or one of our curators will see it as a dud. And again, your Medium experience will fall flat on its face. But just so you know, this is a piece that I wrote earlier this summer about a road trip that I took. Am I a car expert? No. I a clean energy expert? Used to work in the field 10 years ago. It's probably really out of date. But I wanted to put topics that I thought people would find interesting. So cars, electric vehicles, road trip, travel tips, travel. And I'm the one to write this piece because I did the 5,000-mile drive and had things to share. And this one did really well. And I got some amazing comments just from people that have similar experiences with electric cars. Next, we have publications. So publications are independent community-run entities where writers can gather around a topic and style to share their work and build an audience. Um, our editors on this site are amazing. They are all volunteers, they are all community run, and existing publications will give you access to their network immediately. So editors oftentimes have their finger on the pulse of what's resonating. So if you're looking for a place to park your thought leadership and you haven't maybe set up your own footprint on Medium, finding a publication and submitting to that publication is a great way to get something interesting in front of them. Or if you've got a ton of stuff that you want to say, our publication functionality is a great substitute for a company blog. So if you already have a company blog on your URL, having that content come over to Medium, again, if it is dynamic, if it shows expertise, if it's interesting to our readers, it's another way to find an audience that you don't already have. And those publications you can brand with your name, an icon, an overview, and then you can even accept submissions yourself. So let's say you have a stable of executives that you're trying to build their prominence in their fields. They can write it on their accounts and then submit it to the blog that you've or the publication that you've created. And not only are you building your reputation as an organization, they are building their reputation as individual practitioners. So we have that availability as a part of our publication function. It's a really unique and fun way to build community around your ideas if you'd like to. And then finally, say something real. I get it. Okay. I was steeped in that sort of overly cautious corporate doublespeak. And I love my colleagues and they will call me out on that when I kind of fall back into that habit. So I get that it's a hell of a lot easier to write something that doesn't really say anything so that you can get approval from like a million different people. But if you say nothing, nobody wants to read it. So you have to, it is your job as a practitioner to push yourself and your team to cut through the noise and get to the heart of an issue. Push harder to find that unique insight that spurs a reader to action, that piece of data that you haven't shared with anybody else. Say something real and true and interesting. And that way, Medium is far more likely to put the right sort of readers in front of it. After all, as I said, our recommendation system is designed to serve the readers first. And since your job as a marketer or communicator is to create genuinely valuable content and present it to the right audience, if you put that work in on the front and you create something super interesting, it's more likely to get in front of the right people. And finally, let's talk about what doesn't work on Medium. Corporate pablum bullshit does not work on Medium. AI slop does not work on Medium. In fact, we actively prevent it from being served to our readers. Anything without an actual perspective that could be said by anybody won't do well on Medium. And finally, sales pitches that don't say anything new also won't do well on Medium. These hacks don't work, so it really is important to make an effort and put your gems on the site. Our readers hate clickbait and they don't tend to read those stories, so we are much less likely to recommend them to our readers. Anything that doesn't work, and by the way, anything that doesn't work for our readers or is lazy or is something that we don't think anyone will read will be marked for the lowest level of distribution. So you might put something on the site and see absolutely no traction and crickets. That could be why. So really, again, we're encouraging you to push something super interesting that people will get jazzed about. And then finally, I mean, this is a silly way to end this, but I had to include it. Where else on the internet do you have a CEO of a company that pays my bills writing about his favorite shaver while also not allowing hate on the platform? I'm just saying, if you have something interesting to say, Medium's a pretty great place to put it. All right, I did it in 20 minutes. Let's open it up to any questions that you may have. A lot of talking very quickly. I don't see any open questions. Anything in the chat that I didn't get to? Oh, I love this story, Kanos. Thank you so much. Googled one of your Medium story titles and what came up was someone who plagiarized your story on Medium. Oh, the SEO is effective. I hope you can, by the way, you can report that too. So make sure that you report those stories if you see them. We want to make sure that the right people are getting the right action. Yes, agree, Suzanne. It is important to feel like you're working in a safe space. It is, I think, especially um, if you are representing a company, especially if you're in client service, it is really risky to think about putting your work on a site that could put your words alongside folks that are really controversial or are saying things that you don't want your brand associated with. So that's a good thing about Medium. Great question from Mike that just came in. Can we have more than one pub on Medium? I write sci-fi and small business books. Yes, that is a great answer or a great question. You can have more than one publication. And what's really awesome about Medium is that we don't expect you to just be a one topic person. We expect you to be interested, I wrote that piece on electric cars. I also used to write a lot about politics, being an immigrant because I am an immigrant. And I have found audiences on Medium in both places. And I know a lot of people that do some of their corporate writing on Medium, but then also get a chance to do some creative writing or talk about things that they're interested in their personal lives. And Medium's great for both of those things. So that's a great question. Thank you for that. Um, how is Medium? Oh, hey, Nicole. Oh my gosh, Nicole, great to see you. How is Medium adjusting for GEO LLMs picking up the content? That's a really good question. So first off, we default no to training on our content. So we've said this for a few years now, and we recently joined the RSL standard, which is an organization that is putting forward an industry standard to prevent, it's a consortium of platforms that will basically say to these LLMs, if you are not compensating us in some way, you are not allowed to train on our data. The same time, it is more complicated now that traffic is being driven by these AI companies. So the great thing about RSL is it is also us saying you can direct traffic if you in your search results, if you direct us traffic, that's fine, but we don't want you training on it without compensation. And as I mentioned, so we think about it a lot, and we are seeing from folks that we have talked to that Medium is showing up well in GEO, which is great. Oh, yeah, Julie, thank you so much for sharing that. Mm. Oh, Gregory, great question about rules for being written in bios. Only rules are you have to adhere to our rules. So I would encourage you to go to the Medium rules, and there are, no hateful content. There's a no plagiarism, things like that. So go through those are the rules in the rules. How can you pitch ideas to your boss client for writing on Medium? I think if you are pitching Medium as an opportunity for your boss or client, find out what they're actually interested in. That can be everything. If you have a product announcement coming up, saying to them, please write 1,000 words on why you love this product is a little bit boring. But asking them to say, hey, can you describe to me the moment you came up with that product announcement or came up with that product idea and maybe what it was like to get the team to work on it? Is there is there a story that you can tell about a bug that came in that the whole team got behind and got together and fixed it? Those sorts of very specific stories go over super well with our business community. So I think the piece of advice I can give about pitching Medium is appeal to what makes them interesting and what wakes them up in the morning to do their job. I think getting more specific is always more effective than just saying, hey, I think you should be posting more on Medium. Come with like really cool ideas. Good success pitching. Yep, we've got lots of publications too. That's another thing as a PR practitioner. If you are looking for earned media, there are ways to communicate. Actually, I probably should have had a slide on that. Thank you, Susanna. I can mention that. You are able to communicate via private message with every Medium post you see. So if you find a writer on Medium and you think that they're interesting, always you can always send them a private note on a story saying, "Hey, you've got someone you might think they could talk to." But again, remember our Medium rules and be cool. Be cool in the comments. Be cool and don't hassle people too much and show up to our writers with value because I think that that's the best way to get attention. Thank you, Zuli. Have a good rest of your day. Right. Any other questions? I'm here for 5 more minutes. This is really, I'm going back. I'm sorry, I didn't get the stuff at the beginning. Uh, doo, 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 doo. Oh, Greg, everybody, please say hi to Research Greg in the chat because he is I mean, I'm going to say this. He is one of my favorite colleagues. So Greg, thank you. Let's see here. Um, well, if there aren't any more questions, I know it is later in the day, so I want people to have time to go on to this. And hi, Deb, by the way. Deb, good to see you. I just want to say thank you so much for coming. And oh, what would you say is the biggest differentiator for Medium when compared to alternatives like Substack or LinkedIn newsletters? Well, that is a very good question. And I think the thing I'm going to push back on you as you consider this is, what is your end goal? So something like Substack or Beehive or Ghost, do you know that you can put in the effort to send all of those platforms reward sort of regular posting? And also those platforms are designed for very direct monetary compensation. So do you already have 50,000 emails and you believe that they're going to give you $5 a month in order to hear your words, and you think you can deliver on regular posting? Great. I think those are really great platforms for you. And also you can cross post to Medium if you've got the time. Something like LinkedIn newsletters, same thing. I think that their network capabilities are great. You already know that you're going to be going through the networks that you have. I do think that Medium is better for discoverability of ideas, though. So, I mean, there is the LinkedIn voice, there's a Medium voice, there's a Substack voice. And I think if you've decided that what you are saying is something that's maybe more based in experience, longer form writing, more narrative, then it definitely belongs here than in other places. A great question. And if you're in client service and you're asking those questions, that's because I don't know about anyone else who's here, but I have definitely been told before, just make this go viral. And that is not, luckily not here, but in other places. There is tool for writing. Thank you. Again, I'm biased, but I do think that the experience of writing on Medium and the experience of publishing and the experience of the community is a really pure and wonderful one here. What I really loved about the EV piece that I wrote was getting folks who were also drivers who asked questions, or people that worked in competing fields asking questions. The intelligent conversation, and I've heard secondhand from people that that has led to potential business relationships. It's led to ideas that lead to product changes, not on my post, but on folks that posts that other folks have done. So again, I do think the community is a big selling point, and especially because of our moderation policies, mm, you're you can trust that there's going to be a good conversation that won't be kind of taken over by disinformation. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for joining this evening, and I hope that you have a great day. And again, my email is amyw@medium.com. If you have questions about getting started on Medium with your clients or your companies, please shoot me an email. I will answer it. We can get on the phone and talk about things. Or if you just want to bitch about how hard your job is right now in this current media environment, I will gladly hear your horror story. Thank you so much, everybody, and have a great day.